Revolutionary, front line standing, solitary, mind state, kinda scary. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath and put me on the front line.
Do you recommend this body conditioning class to anyone?
I'd highly recommend it to anyone and everyone, not just athletes. I mean, the truth of it is, some of my more rewarding memories of students in my class are kids that weren't really athletic and had never really played a sport, but they kind of found their athleticism and their sport calling, via CrossFit.
So what's the transition of how you used to work out back then and how you work out now?
Well, when I first started teaching here, myself and my students, I took more of a traditional bodybuilding approach, lots of curls, tricep extensions, bench press, calf raises, this and that. Anything, pick up a Muscle and Fitness magazine from 5 or 6 years ago, and that's what my classes were doing. And it was okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but it wasn't great either. The kids weren't all that motivated. They weren't sweating the way that they sweat now. I mean, you look at kids coming out of the weight room these days and their shirt is soaked. 6, 7, 8 years ago, before we were doing this stuff, you wouldn't have seen that. Body conditioning was kind of the class that kids signed up just to kind of hang out and sit around in the weight room, as opposed to kind of what it's turned into now with the incorporation of the CrossFit stuff and what Coach Boyd and I are doing now in the weight room.
So how'd you make the transition from your bodybuilding strategy from now to CrossFit?
Well, it's actually kind of interesting. Coach Vic kind of spurred the whole thing on. He won't confess to that, but I give him some credit for that. I was in the PE office one day watching, just on my computer, and I looked over to the left, and he happened to be watching some type of exercise video. So I asked him what it was. He showed me. It was a guy doing thrusters and burpees, two things that I had never heard of before and never done myself. So I watched the video, thought it looked kind of cool. That same day I went into the weight room after school and did that thruster and burpee workout, and I thought to myself, man, that was pretty horrible, but at the same time it was pretty great too. So just slowly I started doing workouts after school in the weight room. Then some students started joining me, and before I knew it, there was kind of like 20 students joining me on a daily basis doing CrossFit workouts after school. And that was kind of when I saw that there was something to it. If these students were willing to come on their own time and do these, torturous, grueling workouts after school, I figured it might be worth a try, in the classroom or in the weight room. So I just started working them in slowly, and then, one thing led to another, and year after year, it's just basically turned into a full-blown kind of CrossFit conditioning program. I've had a number of kids who had never been on a sports team, yet they got into the CrossFit class and they just blossomed a little bit. So, and then aside from them, you're going back to the athletes. Yeah, it's great for any athletic, achievement that you're trying to work towards, whether it be college scholarship, just playing better on the field or on the court. The training methods that we use on a regular basis can really benefit anybody, regardless of what they're looking for.